Hello, 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 and welcome back to FRLT. Yes, it is time. You might realise it is still Season 3, but that is because we've had a little bit of a restart here in FRLT for everything. Because some teams, of course, weren't happy with how the game was. A lot of drivers weren't happy. They're still not happy, but of course... So a lot of teams were struggling to find drivers who wanted to race, and that's a very big thing across the board. But this one difference is we've got a new calendar, a whole change to our idea of how we want to be run, everything. So I want to welcome everybody back for this journey once again going into Season 3. You will see a lot of similar things as we had last season, but of course we do have fours returning for this time around. So let's have a quick look. This week, I don't have the calendar. I don't have the calendar on me. I can read it out to everybody if you give me a second, because sadly we don't have a graphic for the calendar as of yet. But this is the fours calendar. We have Austria for round 1 of the season. Then we'll be going to Monza, Japan, and Las Vegas before we reach Christmas. Then we'll be having Qatar and China at the beginning of the year before we have another break week where we then go to the final 3 races at Bahrain, Belgium, and Great Britain for round 9 as the finale. We've got everybody in, so we'll be readying up very soon. Be readying up right now. We have a few drivers. We have 17 tonight. We're missing a few because teams they've forgotten a few, but they've ultimately everybody is in ready to go. 17 drivers in for tonight. We've got a lot of racing to go for this season, and we're going to be kicking it off. Here's a little track map of Austria. It's the shortest track, 4.318 kilometers, 2.683 miles, only 10 turns, the least amount of turns on any track, 3 DRS zones, all a hat trick of DRS zones, as I like to call it. As you can see, quite a bit of elevation up towards, of course, turn 2 and turn 3, all the way up the hill, and then you slowly make your way back down the hill before you then reach the finish line once again. Now, of course, there's no standings. There is nothing for now until next week. But I'm quite excited to see how this is going to go and how we're going to do with this. I understand that some people are surprised to see us back. It's been a little bit of a break away from usual. We've been gone for a little bit, but we do fully return. I'd also like to point out, thank you to SimRacing Centre for affiliating with us here in FRLT. So thanks so much to them. Make sure to go check them out. I believe I have their Discord server link in the description. It should be down there, so make sure to go and have a look. You should be able to join through there. You can buy amazing setups, race strategies for F1. I believe also a Assetto Corsa, everything. They generally have everything there. Make sure to go and check them out. Big up to them. But my apologies. We finally made it in. I clicked the wrong button. I need to stop clicking wrong buttons. But we've finally made it in now. And we're about to get racing in the next few moments. Drivers are choosing their tyres. And as you can see, here we are. We're now ready to go for racing. We are ready to get racing. Which is something quite nice to see. First time in a while. Waiting for everything to load and get going. So here is all of the track data. We got telemetry will stay off. Of course, remember, it is an 18-minute qualifying followed by a 50% race, which is 36 laps around Austria. But we've got our first driver coming out on track. It's an SET. It is SET Sonic on his way out. The teams here tonight, SET take up the Red Bull and RB. XPG are in the Williams, only in the Williams for tonight. They're the only ones in the Williams. To add on to that as well, there's just a lot. By the way, there is a lot. My apologies. Sorry for pausing. I just need to respond to something. Very sorry. I need to close that as well. But yeah, so we're now all ready to go. You can see the outlap. He's gone out on the medium tyres. Now, of course, it is against the rules in FRLT to go out, for instance, on intermediates or wets. It is against the rules in that case. But it is allowed to go out on mediums. And just as long as they're out on dry tyres in dry conditions, it is allowed. But we're going to be riding on board with the RB and with SET Sonic, who's going to be the first driver to start a lap and cross the line here in Austria to get FRLT Season 3, the restart, up and going. And here we go, he crossed the line. Let's see how he's going to do heading down into turn 1. Of course, it's just a sort of 90-degree corner. You've got to get it right. It closes in slightly off for the exit, but very strong through there so far from the SET driver. Exactly what he would have been wanting. Let's see what his end of... What is this first sector? It's a 16.0. Not bad on the medium tyres. Quite safe into turn 3. Quite sort of slow through there. Now heading down the hill again as you make your way, as you start to make your way down the hill into turn 4, braking sharply, throwing the car in. Of course, on those medium tyres, he will be going a little bit slower. I think we've got a yellow flag for a sow. We've got a slow-moving Mercedes out there as well. Now making his way round the next corner into a double left-hander. He's going to throw the car in. It's a bit faster through this left-hander than the other one. So far, pretty strong from SET Sonic. Now heading down towards the final 2 corners, turn 9 and turn 10. He throws it in. Very calm from the RB, keeping it all straight and keeping it all going. He's really on edge there, really close to track limits. He sets a 1 minute 4.087 to start off the qualifying here tonight. And that is incredibly strong from himself, and that's exactly what he needed. We've got a Red Bull on a lap. That is his teammate, I believe it is. It is tape. He is out on the intermediates, which isn't allowed. You're not allowed to be out on the intermediates. But he is, so that will definitely be needing to be looked at. We do have Daniel, who has invalidated for VEL. Disappointment there, starting off their campaign in 4s. We're looking behind. I think we've got a Williams. It's the other Williams, actually. It is Diamond Miner, of course, for XPG. The only 2 XPG drivers in here for tonight. And coming up and across the line, he goes P2, but a big half a second down at the moment. His teammate, Callum, goes a lot closer. 1 minute 4.144. Pavanir also getting pretty close. Anton now getting a bit closer. 1 minute 4.2. Pretty close at the moment. Top 4 being split by about 0.2 of a second. Just over 0.2, about 2.5 tenths at the moment. So it is looking pretty close between all of this lot. So don't count them out just yet. We have Smith coming up to the line. He's only going to go 8th. It's a slow lap from himself. It's not the lap he would have been looking for. We've got a Mercedes on a lap. It's Wooder. He's invalidated. His teammate is starting a lap, though. We look to, I think it is Daniel. It is VEL Daniel, if I can say it correctly. He invalidates on the final corner. And it wouldn't have been fastest, but it would have been P2. And that would have been a very good start to a campaign for VEL. Something that they really do need here, of course, and something that they really do want as well. But so far, it's a pretty interesting thing to see from them. I think, who else is coming up to the line? Who else is coming round? I think we've got Junior. He's invalidated his lap, so disappointment there for him. Quartz has invalidated. Has his teammate invalidated his lap? No, he hasn't. He's going for another run. He's going for a full push this time. Don't go wide. You've got to be careful of that final corner, of course, for track limits. And across the line he goes. He goes fastest of all. Half a second on provisional pole. ABE coming out incredibly strong here tonight. Really out there on top to start off qualifying. And that's exactly what they needed. Quartz struggling a little bit more with getting that lap in. But at the moment, it's a pretty interesting start from the 2 of them. Just double checking team cars because I do not know them to start off the season. So yes, so TTRE are the Mercedes and Aston Martin duos. Then AB Alpine and McLaren. As we saw TTRE Lyric get quite close to Smith. 1 minute 3.6. Marius Anderson as well, getting pretty close. He went to a 1 minute 3.7, and Arc also getting quite close as well, all into the 1 minute 3s. They're starting to dip below now, which is a quite interesting thing to see. Quartz is on a lap. He's pushing hard. Can he set a lap? No, he's going to be going into the pits. I'm guessing he doesn't have enough fuel. Red Bull and RB or SCT as already discussed. Williams and Ferrari or XPG. And Sauber and Haas are VEL. Which, of course, are not the cars I think some people want to be in. But very close from Lyric. Interesting to see from these top two how close they are at the moment. Very interesting to see how close these two are. Right now, because there's only about a tenth splitting them at the moment, and about 3/10 splitting the top four at the moment, which is quite a bit of a gap. But we still have, we've still got 5 drivers who haven't set a lap yet, who have failed to set a lap yet, which of course is quite crucial. But we got Callum, who's going to be the first driver to go on the second runs. He's currently P6. He needs to find at least half a second, maybe pull himself up into the top 3. He needs this, though. XPG need it. They've only got 2 drivers here tonight, or possibly 3. I think it is just 2 drivers they have here tonight. And so we're going to have to see how Callum can do. It's a pretty impressive first sector. Saying it was fastest, of course, the game likes to trick us, loves to trick us with faster sectors. It's quite mean like that. But now, heading round turn 4. Very smooth from the Williams. The Williams looking like it's really moving nicely with the drivers at XPG. They don't seem to be sort of having a rough time with getting the car turned in. Quarter of a second up at the moment. So, but he's gone over, and that is an invalidation. Disappointment there for the man of Callum. It's not exactly how he would have wanted to have it, but it has happened, and he is going to have to take it as that for the moment, but he does have some time. We got Tape for SET. He needs to put in a lap now. He really does need to put in a lap. His teammate also hasn't put in a decent lap. He goes to P6. Top 6, 5th and 6th at the moment, set by SET. And immediately, Anton goes P3. Very close to Lyric. Getting very, very close, I will say. But that is exactly what he needed there and then. But there's a bit more to be found. There is quite a bit more. Lumi has already invalidated his lap. It's Wooder as well, not getting away with this well at the moment. V. Daniel, still yet to set a lap. He needs to get this lap in now, rather than later. Purple middle sector. Let's see whether he can actually put together a lap, because so far others have. He's struggled to do it, but we'll have to see in the next few moments whether he will. 2 corners to go. Let's ride on board with the Sauber, making his way round pretty decent from himself. And across the line, it is only P6. VEL just getting into the top 6 there. Not close enough as of yet. We're going to be looking. Who else can we look towards? There's not a lot of drivers. I haven't seen a lot of drivers on laps. We've got Pavanir coming up to the line next. He crosses. He goes P8, 2/10 faster. Pretty strong there. This mid-pack from 6th down to 10th. Very close. Within about a 10th of each other. Within 800ths of each other, actually. So incredibly close. Smith is on a lap. He's improving by 73 thousandths in the first sector, which around this track is quite large. He could be dipping into a 1 minute 3.4 at the moment, which would be an incredibly strong lap. Just help himself ahead of Lyric a little bit further, make it a little bit of a harder job for anybody else to catch up to him. But we'll have to see as he makes his way around, because of course this track does catch you out for track limits. That is of course the main thing and the main problem drivers have, is that it does catch you out in that way. Making his way around almost 2/10 of a second up in his lap. Smith really putting together a lap that he needs. He could be going into a 1 minute 3.3 at the moment, which would be an incredibly strong lap for his session. He goes a little bit wide. He goes off track, and it is disappointment for AB. It would have been a 1 minute 3.4 in the end, but still disappointment for Smith there on the final corner. He was up by a decent amount. Even if he had improved that small bit more, it would have brought him about a 10th further up. I think I just saw somebody jump up the order. It is Ark. He's improved by almost 2/10. He's right behind his teammate now. TTRE, second and third. Strong combination going on over there. Exactly what they would have been looking for here tonight. Exactly what they need here tonight. Of course, they've also got Marius in fifth. I think they are the Mercedes. TTRE are the Mercedes, I do believe. Just double checking. Yes, they are. They are in the Mercedes. It is Aston Martin Mercedes for TTRE. Lyric is on a lap. He's pushing. Is he improving, though? This is the big question. I can't see whether he is improving or not, but let's see when he crosses the line. He will improve. He goes fastest, 2/10 faster. He finds another 900ths over Smith at the end of his lap, and that is exactly what TTRE Lyric needed, putting themselves on top at the moment, first, third, fifth, and down at the moment in 17th as well. But it is of course, 3 of their drivers are inside of the top 3, and that is exactly what they'll be looking for here today. We can see a few drivers returning to the pits. We do have Quartz on a lap. We also have Lumi on a lap. They're very close to each other, actually, on a lap. But these are the only 2 drivers currently pushing on a lap. So let's watch Quartz. AB need a strong performance here tonight. Same as SV. Also, part of AB needs a strong performance. All these drivers need to bring some performance. AB need to get this, of course. They lost the Constructors' title last season in FRLT in Season 2. They failed to take the championship. They were second for most of the season, and they then finished third. They couldn't take it in Tier 2 either. They failed to do it there as well. So they walked away. Oh, and it's a massive crash! Quartz catches the wall, and his qualifying is now over. We got to watch Lumi. Lumi crossed the line. He's slowest of all, 1:06 on the dot. On the dot. But that is Quartz out, and that is an ABE driver who is now going to fail to set a lap in this session, and it's not the start they would have wanted, as they do feel like they are currently a little bit down on everybody else, because they are just second, 13th and 16th for the moment. We got to see Daniel, Daniel is pushing. We got SV who's pushing. I think Daniel is actually the next driver to be crossing the line. He's pushing well. Yeah, it's an interesting crash. It's a very high-speed corner, of course. Oh, Daniel goes off. It's disappointment. He was not going quickly anyway, so not a lot lost there for himself. Lumi, I think, is Lumi pushing? Is Lumi pushing? Yes, Lumi is pushing on another run. He does want to go for it again. He invalidates, though, and he's going to cut the entire track to get into the pits, because I don't think he had enough fuel. Quite an interesting thing to see. You can see Daniel ultimately gets in front. Strange night we're having. You can see it's Wooder still yet to set a lap. Some drivers in TTRE may be having a bit of a rough time. Still, Quartz now can't set a lap, but now 2 drivers still haven't set a lap, yet they can. So there's some disappointment. We do have Callum on a lap. He's improving by a 10th already in the first sector, so he could already be going, at the moment, he'll already go up from P11 to P7 incredibly quickly. It's Wooder set a lap of 1:17, so he did cross the line in the end. Making his way round now, up the hill for Callum. And we said about how XPG need a strong start to their season. They were quite close last season of Force, but Callum goes off. He goes off, and it is a mistake made from XPG once again. And their day is not getting much better. Even though Diamond Miner is up in 4th, we could just see Callum not very happy with currently his pace out there for the moment. It is quite understandable why you won't be too happy with it. It's Wooder, slightly slow in the first sector, still 16.0. He is over 3 seconds up, which hopefully he'll find more time in the final sector. But TTRE, very spread across the field, but they've still got that 1st, 3rd, and 6th, which is still an impressive qualifying form to start off the season. Still incredibly impressive, as he does go, as now it's Wooder goes P8. Pretty strong. All 4 of their drivers taking up the top 8. Half the top 8 are just TTRE drivers, which is a surprising thing that I didn't expect to see. TTRE Lyric is actually the first driver to do his final run with 2 minutes and 5 seconds left on the clock. And now TTRE Lyric is starting his lap. We've got to see how the Aston Martin can do across his lap, because he's got to put this lap in. He's got to make sure Smith can't improve. He can't beat him in the end. He really does. What, in this case, TTRE Lyric will be hoping for is maybe some slipstream from cars in front. Maybe gain that extra, 800ths, half a tenth, just to pull himself a little bit further in front. You can see he's using all of it. Whoa, he had to move out the way very heavily there. He's trying to do it, but he's moved out the way. He's given up on his lap. Maybe cars are not moving out of the way at the right time. Very risky at the moment. But it's Pavanir who's the next one now. Only one car left out in front of him, out on track. So he's only got a Mercedes to deal with. And I believe that Mercedes is Marius Anderson. I believe it. Oh! Contact there. Contact there. I believe it's Wooder. It's Wooder. Ooh. Interesting to see there. Very, very interesting to see. Not sure how that has come around. We've also got Junior, who in this sector spun, and now he's trying to turn back round, but he's kind of stuck trying to turn round. So that is his qualifying very much over. Pavanir's done with his session. We're going to be looking to whoever is next, because I don't even know who's next now. Smith pushing on his lap once again. He's going to be trying to make his way round. I believe the first driver to cross the line is an Aston Martin. It is an Aston Martin. It's one of them. It is Ark. He's going to be the first one. Not sure how that collision even happened, but we'll have to look at that afterwards. But it is 32 thousandths up at the moment from Ark. This could help him out. Could keep him in P3 for the moment and get possibly a double podium. Qualifying is now over. They've got 3 minutes to end their laps now. Everybody did cross the line except it's Wooder and Junior. And across the line, he improves by a tenth and a half. He goes into P2 onto the front row. Strong lap there. We've got Bloodshed, who doesn't actually improve, by the way. No improvement from himself. Sonic doesn't improve either. Disappointment. Marius Anderson goes P3 now, jumping up into that spot. Diamond Miner can't improve. Callan did improve and go P7, so some decent drives there. Smith doesn't improve. More disappointment. Anton's going to cross the line. He won't improve either. We saw Lumi gain a lot of time, go up to P8 for VEL. And we've only got one driver left, and that is the man of SV, who has invalidated, spins it into the wall, almost spins it into the wall. He does now. And that is the end of qualifying here tonight in Austria for round 1 of 4s of FRLT Season 3. Interesting moments, I will say we had. Interesting moments. But as you can see, there is 5 place grid penalties for 2 drivers due to a collision, but that will stay the same. But this is the grid. TTRE Lyric is first with Arc Media in second. Marius Anderson is in third, and TTRE 123. Smith is fourth, with Diamond Mine in fifth, Anton in sixth, Callum in seventh, Lumi eighth, Daniel ninth, and it's Wooder in 10th. Sonic is 11th, with Pavanir in 12th, Tape FG in 13th, Bloodshed in 14th, SV in 15th, Junior 16th, and Quartz in 17th, and last on the grid. Ooh, a qualifying definitely to look back at in an interesting way. So, we're going to have to see how this will go. We've got 3 minutes till we get underway. We got 3 minutes, about that, maybe slightly less, about 2.5 minutes. But it's yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how tonight goes, of course. It's a 36 lap race around the Red Bull Ring, 3 sets of DRS. If you guys want to just have a little look again at the track map. It is 4.318 kilometers, 2.683 miles, 10 turns. Ultimately, 3 DRS zones down the pit straight, second straight, and back straight. That is everywhere. As you can see, a lot of elevation on the track. We're going to be getting underway very shortly, about 2 minutes' time. The only reason why we are not restarting with the grid penalties is because it was a collision that took place, not a if it was blocking or something like that, then we would be having a restart, but of course, as you know, it isn't like that. But with a collision, we do not restart qualifying. We do not restart the race. We don't do anything. The race will continue the same as usual. We've got an interesting race. We know it's going to be a one-stop race, most likely, with no rain. It's going to be a one-stop race. It's dry for qualifying, dry for the race. Rather nice to see, clear skies, but I do see some small bits of cloud over the hill. So ever so slightly, that cloud might come in very slowly on the drivers. It might catch them out later in the race, but of course they would have seen. I don't know what the weather is personally, but the drivers will know. And so we're getting ready in the next minute to get our first racing of Season 3 and get this restart underway. Now, after the race, we will have some lovely interviews available for teams to do. Also, make sure to tell me in chat what your predictions are for the race, because I'm interested to see what you guys think. Who do you think is going to win? Who do you think is going to come out on top? Of course, the point system is slightly different here in Falls. A win only gets you 18 points, so it does get you 7 points. This pole does get you 1 point. Fast lap also getting you 1 point. So as a driver, you can only score 20 points as the maximum. Second is 15 points, and third is 13 points. So there is some gaps in the points, but it's going to be interesting to see with the reduced points. It will make the grid a whole lot closer. But we'll be getting underway, and we are. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And away we go here for FRLT Season 3 of Falls. And it's a great start from TTRE Lyric. He gets away incredibly well. He leads through Turn 1. He didn't need anybody to challenge him. He has made it through. TTRE making it clearly through. 1, 2, 3 still as they run up the hill towards Turn 3. It is all about getting this run now. Heading into the next corner. As you can see, it is a lot going on. A lot of racing. And now heading over the hill. We now start to head down the hill on the track. Now they've got to try and make this work with everything they do have as they make their way down. Let's see how they will do at all times. It's a lot of drivers pretty close. We see Sonic is starting to go through the field. He's dropping back through. Whoa, bit of contact there. Sonic's dropping through the field very quickly. He's already down to about 14th, going possibly even lower. It's not looking like that much fun for himself, but the front three have really pulled it out on their own, and they're not having any problems at all, which of course is quite interesting to see that it's been a good start from TTRE, and there are no problems at all for themselves, and it's always interesting to see how that goes. But a good start and a good getaway. Lyric continues to lead his way here in Austria. It's always nice to see, but you can see Smith has kept up with the TTRE trio. Here comes Smith around the outside. He's trying to get Marius Anderson, unable to, but Marius Anderson is going to get his teammate Arcadia, and in the end, it has been a swap in positions. But now, as you can see, Smith up into P4, and it's a great start from him. Bit sort of what he needed, but he's going to need some more as the race goes on, of course. As bloodshed, there's some slow drivers further back. Quartz dropping down the order. He's back down to 16th. This race not going his way at all. Tyres wise, what are the tyres? We've got a lot of medium runners. We've got a couple of hard runners as well up on there. So it's a mixed grid. I will say it's a quite mixed grid with the hards and mediums. Drivers going for different starts. Great start from Pavanir though, up 5 places most out of anybody so far. Quartz gets a 3-second time penalty already going on to lap 3. You can see TTRE Lyric is under attack from his teammate Marius Anderson, as now they head down this first straight. Here comes Marius Anderson wanting to take the lead here. It's a 1-2-3 at the moment for TTRE, but it's completely been swapped. The Aston Martins were 1-2. Now they're going down. It's actually a mistake from Ark. He's made a big mistake. It allows Smith to push his way past and get a good exit, and that was a really great bit of driving from Smith, just seeing that small moment of weakness from Ark and taking the opportunity all that he could. And that is now up to 3rd for the ABE driver, as now he chases the front 2 and even more TTRE drivers. Lumi having a battle with Callum over P6 at the moment. VEL trying to score some points, trying to come away from this first race with some decent level of points. Of course, remember, it isn't 25 points for win. It is a different point system. It is only 7 points for 6th place, only 7 points. So there are not a huge amount of points on the table for the lower positions, as Marius Anderson sets a fast lap and is pulling away with complete ease at the moment. Half a second in the lead, which isn't a lot, especially with the DRS, but it is all that he needs, because as long as he leads this race, it is going to be incredibly interesting. Heading up the hill, not a change for position yet, so a rather interesting one to see there. Rather interesting to see, I must say. Now heading down the hill, still leading by turn 4. Very interesting to see that the top 5 have very easily, sort of the top 6 have easily kept up with this. There's definitely a top 6 battle with Callum starting to fall back slightly. He is struggling to keep up. Bits of lag coming in here with some drivers. And now, as they make their way round, still, it is the man of Marius Anderson who leads on to lap 5. Another lap led for TTRE. They've led now 100%. They've taken the pole, of course. So it's all points heading their way, and fastest lap. They might be coming away with pretty much almost the highest amount of points you can score. But of course, we've got to see what the TTRE teammates are going to be doing between them. Are they going to play fair? Are they going to play nice? Or are they going to be battling each other like they are rivals? But the main thing I am noticing from all of this is how TTRE Lyric is just staying there. He's staying close. He's not giving in. He's not going to let them... He's not going to let his teammate walk away with this. He's keeping up with the DRS and barely using any ERS while he's at it. But you can see all of the top 11, by the way, still within a second of each other after 5 laps, which is pretty interesting. Pavanir, though, he's getting a little bit pulled. You know, the grid is pulling away from him in the top 10. He's starting to drop off. SET, not the start they were looking for here tonight. Sonic down to 12th, Junior in 13th with a penalty as well. Diamond Miner as well having a really poor start, sending himself down to 14th as there's a dive bomb from Quartz. Still, he's going to hold on to 14th for now. But as you can see, it's just a very interesting field we've got here. You know, SET, the RBs, very much on their own. Half of SET on their own. Smith, 3 wide into turn 3. And it's the lead for Smith. It has absolutely been a TTRE bottle for a start, because they have just lost the lead of this race after being 1, 2, and 3. But here comes Lyric again. He's going to make the move. He makes the move for the lead, and that is back into the lead for himself. But he is under attack from Smith. But that is a poor choice again, because now it isn't TTRE 1, 2. It is TTRE, ABE, and then TTRE. Smith making his way through the grid pretty quickly. Made his way up very quickly, I must say, and there is a lot going on further back. Pavanir, by the way, making his way past. Oh, somebody's gone down. It is SB, who's into the wall. He's trying to stay out of the way. Whoa, bit of contact with, I think that was Blood. He did. Bloodshed, he did ultimately have some contact there. Junior is into the pits. He also, I think, had contact. Junior retires from the session. That is our first retirement of the season, down to 16 drivers now. We've got some more racing. 3 wide again. Almost 3 wide into turn 3. But ultimately, it's a bad exit from Lyric, because he's now dropped down. He's dropped out. And he's now lost the lead again to his teammate Marius, who makes his way from third up to first very quickly. This is exactly what he was looking for. But it's been some disappointment for some teams. SV also retires from the session. 2 drivers out now. Some disappointment for ABE. Because see, look at Anton. He's having to battle with Lumi over 4th place here. Over these positions, it's pretty close between the drivers. It's all going to come down to this. This is exactly what they needed here tonight. And this is the racing we expect to see. And I must say, it's been some pretty interesting racing. We've got a little bit of racing going on further back. Side by side between Arc and Tape. Tape makes the move. And Arc is down to 7th now. And that is some more disappointment coming in for TTRE, as now one of their drivers drops even lower and just moves further and further back in the order, struggling to keep up with their teammates. As now Lumi makes a move on Anton for P4. Very strong move there from Lumi. Up another place. Lumi is really challenging for a podium here tonight. He's really been making his way through the field. That Haas is surely looking fast. And Tape, again, having to fight with Arc. But it's a very easy getaway, using some overtake to get in front. And that's exactly what you'll be wanting to see from this man here tonight. It's been an interesting race so far. As we see some more racing, Callum makes his way past Sonic for P10. Sonic's been able to catch up to Callum, and that's an important moment in this race. But still, there's a lot of this race to go. It is only lap 8 out of 36, remember. Lap 8. Only lap 8 as well. So we've still got a very, very long way to go. So make sure that you stay tuned in, that you make sure that you stick around, because it is going to be a very interesting, incredibly interesting race, I will say, here tonight. As we can see, Callum's had a bit of a moment. I think he's had a spin. He has had a spin. He's in the wall out of the final corner, and that is Callum outside of the points, and looks like his race has ruined XPG's day. It's not getting any better for themselves, as Lumi is trying to go for the lead. He's made his way up to P2. He's making a lot of moves. Callum now retires. Now heading down the hill. Look at this. Oh! Bit of contact. Lumi trying to hold on. He has gotten the move to work. Lumi pushing for the lead. VL pushing for the lead. It is all happening here. Smith moves down a few places. He's knocked down to 4th now. But the racing is getting really on top. It is crazy at the moment. It is so much racing. Something that generally I have not seen in a long while. And these drivers, these drivers are going to be very excited to see what they can do. And I'm excited to see what they can do. I hope you guys are enjoying it. Please think about subscribing and leaving a like here on tonight's stream. It means a lot to everybody here at FRLT. Is now Lumi goes for the lead. Oh, there's been a crash. Somebody's had a moment. It is Pavanir. He hasn't had any damage, but he has dropped down the order, and that is more disappointing for himself. But very interesting to see. A few mistakes coming from drivers that we wouldn't be expecting to see, but we've got some more racing. Anton is trying to get past Marius now, as Smith drops down to P5. ABE just going backwards in this race. They've had one retirement. Their other driver, Quartz, is outside of the top 10 with a penalty, probably going to drop down to P13. On top of then Smith dropping down. He was in the lead at one point, now he's 5th. And the battling is getting really toasty here. And drivers are really pushing themselves all the way. Now heading your way down the hill they go. And up the hill, sorry, they go really. It's more up the hill. And now Lumi really starting to extend this lead that he's had in this race. Top 8 now all together, still within a second of each other, with Arc just holding on. But there is a lot of racing going on, and this could really change things as the race goes on, of course. This is a really important moment during the race. As we all know, it's always incredibly important, as now TTRE Lyric once again retakes the lead of this race. Exactly what he would have been wanting to see right there. Now we see some moves. It's Wooder and Quartz getting a little bit close for comfort. Lower down the order. And ultimately, the battle of the points is still going on and can still change some damage to Itzwood's Carlo. There is some damage. Now, again, heading up the hill, going on to lap 12. Onto lap 12 we go. We're 1/3 into this race, by the way. 1/3. We've made it to 1/3. 33% into tonight's race. There's still a lot more of this race to go, but there is still a lot more action to happen as Lumi once again tries to make a move. He gets pushed out wide. This has absolutely affected his exit, but he's actually been able to work with it. He's made it work, and he's going to keep up for now. And now they head down the hill. Let's see, 3 wide. Oh, big contact there for Lumi. He's round. Oh, even more contact going on. Drivers going everywhere. Look at this. Drivers are having to battle for positions like they mean it. Lumi's down to 5th now. It is all fallen away for a few of these drivers, and it is not helping others, but they are getting into incidents, and this racing is definitely something else. Now, as they make their way round, it's all important. It's important these next few laps because they will be stopping soon for the medium tyre runners, by the way. The medium tyre runners will be stopping very soon. Lumi again making his way up the order. Past Daniel, he goes up into P4. Whoa! Big dive bomb from Tape FG. Massive dive bomb. He's trying to get past Daniel. Is he going to be able to do it? He got some lag going on. Somebody's got some really awful internet going on with themselves. They've got some really awful internet. Not sure. It's definitely not me, because everything seems to be fine. It's definitely somebody who's having poor internet. I suspect it could be Tape FG. I believe it is Tape FG. Having some poor internet here tonight. But as you can see, Anton now leads. SET now gets some laps under their belt. We've had a few drivers do that. And now it is adding on to another team. We've had TTRE. We have had VEL also lead. And now SET and ABE. We've now had 4 teams, I believe that is, lead the race. Only team yet to lead is XPG. But their closest driver is down in 8th. Who's just made up a place because we've just seen Ark come into the pits. It's an interesting one to see. Now heading down the hill into turn 4 and through turn 4. Now heading up the hill, a little bit of a hill, a little bit of an incline, and now again heading through the next few corners. This is a kind of important phase for some drivers because they'll be stopping soon for the medium runners like Marius, Lyric, Tape, and Smith. They've got a very important few laps to go because now you can see Lyric comes in. Tape FG gets a 3-second time penalty, which is really going to affect him by the end of the race. Got 2 drivers coming in. That is Lyric and Smith, who both come in, both medium runners. So you can see the mediums lost maybe 15, 16 laps in this race. So almost half. Now there could be a change for the leader once again. Marius Anderson looking at a move. Not able to make the move. Not just yet. But it was close, hopefully, and very soon it might get even closer in the next few moments, though. Make sure that you don't stop watching because it will definitely be getting closer as the race goes on, of course. As we all know, the race does go on. The race does always get closer. As now Anton makes his way round with some speed. You can see that Red Bull of Anton, that SET driver, really doing well, keeping up. Now heading into the middle sector. You can see Marius Anderson, by the way, goes into the pits. But we saw Anton get a penalty as well, which is not going to help him. Another 3-second time penalty. Whoa, he almost loses the car out of turn 1. Very close from himself. A little bit too close for comfort. That is something that is not what we want to be seeing at all. Something that we don't want to be seeing at all from any driver, of course. It's a very dangerous sort of area to be sitting in. But they now make their way around Quartz, making the move up into P5 now, ahead of Diamond Mine. Of course, he hasn't stopped yet. He has not stopped as of yet, so give him some time, and we might see them start to go through the order a little bit differently. You can see Sonic now giving up places for the two TTRE drivers who are going to be racing into the next corner. And oh, we got something going a little bit too close there. Some drivers going a little bit too close for comfort. A little bit too close for comfort. We got Tape coming into the pits. He's coming out of the pits now. He's come out behind everybody, including Smith, which is not good. He's coming out that far behind. It's definitely not good to come out that far behind. Of course, you don't want to be that far behind. Probably one of the worst places to be in. But Smith now up to P10, back into the points. Quartz fighting with Diamond Miner over P4. It's just allowing Marius Anderson and Ark and Lyric and Smith all to start to catch up. Of course, they don't have penalties. All the way from 10th to 7th don't have penalties. Daniel doesn't have a penalty. Lumi doesn't have a penalty. Tavernier doesn't either. Neither does Diamond Miner. Only a few drivers without penalties. We do have, I believe it's 6 drivers with penalties at the moment out of the 14. No one half the grid having penalties here tonight. That might change. Tavernier now gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Again, track limits, catching out drivers. I said about this during qualifying. This track is quite difficult for track limits. You've got to be careful. Some of the corners. There's Archimedia again. Archimedia, now making the move past the teammates Marius Anderson and TTRE Lyric. Maybe Ark is on a bit of a push here. Maybe he is pushing for the win. Maybe he still thinks that he's in the fight for the win. Because remember, Marius Anderson and TTRE Lyric were the net lead. That will now be handed to Ark, who will now be the net race leader. But Lumi continues to lead this race. The top 3 incredibly close. All sort of on their own. But then we've got this battle from 6th down to 10th at the moment. With this lot who are all going around. They're going to get to some back markers. Daniel gets a 3-second time penalty now. So more penalties coming in for drivers now heading down this straight. Again, we will be getting some battling between the hard runners. Now, into turn 3 they go. It's Anton who takes the lead of this race. Lumi's still the only driver on the hards at the moment who haven't stopped yet to receive a penalty. Also, Diamond Miner in that same category. But in the battle for the lead, this is going to be important, not getting penalty. It's going to be incredibly important. I think that's the difference. Daniel doesn't see himself in a chance for a win. Neither does Anton, I don't believe, because of the time they're losing on the hard tyres. But Lumi has shown the pace. He's shown that he's really fast out there. Marius Anderson going quite deep. He does get the move done past Quartz and past Lyric in the end. And now he's going to try and get past Diamond Miner at the same time as around the outside he goes. It is a move made, and that's a move needed for himself here tonight. By the way, Lumi for VEL has led so many laps now. I believe he's led the last 5 laps going on to this lap. Bit of contact with Anton there. Anton going a bit too deep. But Lumi has now led such a huge amount of laps, I believe. This is going to be going on to his 5th lap led. in a row, which is the longest consecutive lead of laps we've had in this race out of the 20 laps we'll have very shortly. Which is quite interesting to see that this is the longest lead we've had out of anybody. As now Anton decides to go into the pits. Is it going to hold up Daniel slightly? It does hold up Daniel very slightly there. But Daniel now trying to chase Lumi. Maybe showing a sign that he doesn't want to make a move yet. But you can see Lumi going on to lead his 6th lap in a row, which is, again, the longest amount of laps led out of anybody. Diamond Miner now gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Disappointment there for XPG. Anton is in the pits. He drops down quite heavily. He's dropped actually down to 10th in this race, and he's going to be quite far behind everybody else. He should be able to catch up to Diamond Miner and Sonic pretty easily, but maybe a P8 finish is all that we might be seeing from himself. Still, I still look at sort of where Marius Anderson is, and I'm quite interested to see how much time he's gaining, because he's gained about another 8/10 this lap so far. He's gaining quite a bit of time over, of course, Daniel and Lumi because of that tyre difference. But it's one of those things I think that you've got to be careful about, is which ones are you going to be doing? What do you need to do? Because he's just gaining and he's gaining and he's gaining so heavily at the moment that I'm generally surprised that he hasn't caught up more realistically in the last 7 laps. He hasn't caught up more by now. But it's interesting to see that the battle is now starting to decrease, as now Daniel finally takes the lead of this race. VEL continuing this race in the lead. This time Daniel getting his first run in the lead of the race. And we'll see how long that lasts with his teammate Lumi sitting behind him. But you can see you've got Ark, Marius, Lyric, Smith, all in this. We've got only 4 drivers now in this real fight for the win. Unless Tape can get his penalty removed, which is most likely not possible, we could be seeing this go down to a 4-way battle. Possibly, if Lumi does the pit stop now, it could work out as now Daniel goes in. Lumi doesn't! Lumi doesn't. He stays out for another lap. Indecisive decision from Lumi himself. He leads another lap. That's now, by my count, that's now 8 laps led when he reaches the line. 8 laps now led in this race for VEL. Another 8 laps led, adding on to a decent total that they've had today. I believe they've led now 10 laps, which is, I believe, the most out of any team. Just to put it out there, I believe they've led either 8 or 10 laps, which is currently the most out of any team on the grid at the moment. As we know, SET led, I believe it was 3 or 4 laps of this race. TTRE have led about 7. So yeah, it's somewhere around there. You know, ABE led 2, so it's around that many. Marius Anderson now down to 8.2 seconds. This gap has decreased so much. For Lumi, he has to come in now. He has to go in. He is finally going in, but he had to. I think he's waited rather long. He's only going to go maybe 13 or 12, about 12 laps on these hard tyres. He's not going to really be going too long on the tyres, in my opinion. As now, as you can see, Marius now takes the lead of the race. Fine, it's taken a while to retake the lead. Almost 9/10 in the lead, by the way, which is one of the biggest leads we've had. Drivers who have stopped, but you can see Lumi down to P9. He's right at the back, and he's very much on his own now. So going long has not worked out for Lumi here tonight, and it's disappointing to say that it hasn't worked out for him. As we continue to watch as these guys battle, we see a bit of a battle brewing behind. Tape trying to make his way past Smith for P4 as he actually makes that move work. It is a 4-driver battle for the win at the moment. It is just 4 drivers in this battle, but we will have to see tyres-wise. Tyres. Let's have a look at these. It's again mixed. All the top 5 out there on hard tyres, all varying between 7 to 10 laps. We do have Sonic, who's on hards, Pavanir and Bloodshed also on hards. Everybody else is on medium tyres here tonight. It's going to be quite interesting to see as the race goes on. But our biggest winner in positions here tonight has actually been Tape, who's gained 7. He will probably lose 1, so he would have gained 6, which will be the equivalent of Quartz and Pavanir. Diamond Mine has lost the most. He's lost 8 places, same as Callum did as well. But if he ends this race, he would have lost 8 positions. But so far, some interesting racing going on. Daniel up 2 places, by the way. So some decent improvement from Daniel himself. Exactly what VEL were looking for here tonight. Exactly what they needed here tonight is more of the way to say it. I must say, it's definitely more of the way to say it is that it's more of what they needed. It's always sort of what you need. It's always what you need from your team. But we will have to see. One thing I have noticed is how still the top 5 are so incredibly close. We've kind of got 2 groups going on. We've got P1 to P5, and then got P6 to P8, who are a small 3-driver group, who are being caught by Lumi, by the way, who made that 4 drivers. And with their penalties, he might actually jump up to 6th in this race. So for Lumi, in his case, him going onto the mediums could actually save him a bit, because he's going to be catching. But of course, he is losing out in the DRS zones, being so far behind and having to use so much DRS. It's not going his way, but of course, he is catching during the corners. But really, that's only in Sector 2 and Sector 3 is he really catching onto the drivers in front. You know, the hope of him catching onto the leaders is still there, but he's going to have to negotiate these first 3 and really negotiate with this. Really get this gap down, because it's still at 2.2 seconds. He's only gained about 3 tenths since the start of the lap. You can see it's coming down now about 3 tenths, 4 tenths, maybe even half a second. So he is going decently faster, but it's not fast enough for him to really be considered a sort of challenger for the win. As he crosses to start his lap 27, has now changed for the lead. Ark once again regains the lead of the race over his teammate. TTRE returned to a 1-2-3 in this race. Smith making the move on Tape. He's trying to make the move. He's unable to. Smith stuck in this P5. Feeling a bit repetitive with AB. Very much sort of a similar campaign. They're having a bit of a similar start as they did. Whoa! Bit of a slide from Lyric. It's allowed Tape to still stay in front of Smith for now. You can see, look at this. Down the inside Smith goes. And he's finally up to P4 in this race. It's taken him long enough. It's taken him about 7 laps to actually get past a driver in front of him. It's taken him a while to get past Tape. It's taken him about 3-4 laps now to get past the Red Bull. So he's been waiting there for quite a while, which is, you know, it's not exactly what you want to do. But yeah, now the top 4 are free to fight. And it is all up to them. Lumi continues to close in that gap, by the way. Down to 1.4. The race starting to get a little bit interesting. He could, at the moment, he could be on for P6 and take 7 points away from this first race. But yeah, Ark continues to lead, actually. He's now led a full lap without somebody retaking the lead from him. So it's an interesting few moments we're seeing between TTRE. Bit of battling going on. Here comes Marius Anderson, though. Is he going to make the move? No, he isn't. He's going to keep it safe. He doesn't want to make the move yet. He's just going to stick there for now. Yellow flag, by the way. It's Wooder has retired from the race. Our 4th retirement of tonight's race. To be fair, it isn't terrible. It isn't terrible. Pavanir tries to make his way past Quartz for P10. AB versus VEL definitely still going on at the moment. Quartz on for 1 single point here tonight. ABE taking double points, though. They are on their way to take double points. I believe it's going to be a lovely, I think it's 11 points. They're going to take a lovely 12 points from tonight's race, which is very nice for themselves. But TTRE are the guys who are really going to walk away with a massive amount of points, because at the moment they've also got fastest lap. I do believe they have fastest lap. Yes, they do. They do have fast lap. Marius Anderson gets a 10-second time penalty for ignoring yellow flags. Has this ruled him out of a win? This has ruled Marius Anderson out of the chance for a victory, and this ultimately rules himself out of the chance even for a podium. He will drop down. At the moment, he might even drop down to P6, 7, or 8. TTRE, maybe their weekend is not going to be as easy as they thought, and their start to the campaign is not going to be as great as they thought. But I wanna return our eyes to Lumi, who is now caught up to the back of this group on the hard tyres. He will make his way up, and possibly, at the moment, he might even make his way up to P5. P5, as you can see, there goes Sonic. He's gone off. He's got another 3-second time penalty. He's not really going to fight Lumi. He knows Lumi is faster. He's still going for it. Thought he would have allowed him past. But later on the brakes, Lumi can make the move, sliding into turn 3. And that is the move made for P8. And now he chases down P7 and P6. A teammate and an SCT driver. Smith now getting overtaken once again. Some more disappointment for ABE, back down to 5th. But he will get on the podium. He will take those 13 points as it stands. He will take those 13 points needed, and a big 13 points that ABE will really be happy walking away with. But it's still TTRE who will take a 1-2, 18 points, then with another 15, making it to 33 on top of fastest lap and pole, making 35 points to start off their campaign, which is really strong versus some other teams. SCT at the moment only going to finish. Oh, Lumi got a penalty. Lumi got a penalty. As Lyric drops down, he's dropping through the order. He's down to now P3. Smith is going for it again. Bit of bumping, bit of shoving going from all of the drivers around. Only 5 laps of this race left. It's going to be interesting to see as the laps start to come down slowly but surely, and they have. And these are now the last chances. Smith once again trying to make a move. He's going round the outside of tape. He's trying to make it work. He's still on the outside. He has made it work. He has made the move, and there it is. As you can see, TTRE, what a night they're having. You know, they're still on for a 1-2. They're still on for 35 points, maybe even more than that. They'll probably take more than that at the end of the day, even with Marius Anderson's penalty. But this has been a really interesting race for them, a really good start. If they can start off with pole, fastest lap, and the victory, it's complete dominance from TTRE to start off their campaign. Remember, only 9 races for Fords, 10 races for Tier 1, only 19 races we will have this season, and 9 of those are going to be important, especially when it comes down to this championship. As you can see, the laps still coming down slowly but surely, and it's what everybody loves to see. But this is kind of the moment where you sort of expect the driver starts thinking a little bit better, a little bit smarter, you know, starting to take into account a few things that, of course, are going to be important with the race. You know, especially when it comes down to the end, ERS, tyre wear, because the push is all in those final few laps. Anton gets another 3-second time penalty. Quartz gets also another 3-second time penalty, as the driver's now ahead on to lap number 33. The lap's really coming down now. They're really going by quickly. Of course, only about 1 minute 5, 1 minute 6 is coming from the drivers at the moment. So it's just over a minute long each lap. It's very, very short and not a lot of opportunities to make the move. But they're going to be waiting all the way till the end. But still, when they cross the line, TTRE will be 1, 2, 3. But when they ultimately finish, they will only be, at the moment, I believe, 1, 2, and possibly P7. Or maybe even P8. Possibly even lower. As Daniel now makes the move for P7. He's tried to get he's gotten past Anton. He's just got Lumi. Lumi makes his way past in the end. It might have been a 3-way fight there. But now Lumi, he's trying to hunt down the top 5 now. He's been freed of the slower drivers. But it's a bit too late. It's a bit too little, bit too late from Lumi. I must say, it's just not enough. You expect to see better from drivers like Lumi. You really do. You expected to see a better strategy come from VEL, because at the moment there's not going to be a huge amount on the table for them versus some other teams. 3 laps left of the race now, only 3 laps to go, as Arc again retakes the lead. He's hoping he can stay with that lead for all of these final 3 laps, continue TTRE's dominance in this race. Really, the only word I have for TTRE so far is dominance. They've taken the fast lap. They got pole. They've taken the fast lap, and now they're taking a 1-2-3 when they cross the line. Even though it won't be, it will still be a 1-2 at least from 2 of their drives from the Aston Martins. But it's an interesting start, because now we're seeing, by the way, Smith really has dropped back. He's 9/10 back now. He's really struggling to keep up. Not what you'd expect to be seeing from Smith. He's really struggling to keep up with the top 3 now. This could put his chances in a little bit of a problem. You can see 2 laps now remaining, only 20 corners left until the race is finished. 20 corners, that's now down to 19. As the corners slowly go by. The drivers, of course, when you're thinking at this point during a race, all they're thinking about is closer and closer to the line. And one of the biggest things drivers do, one of the most common things drivers do, is count down the amount of corners that are left until they reach the flag. That's one of the things that many drivers do actually do, and I've heard it quite a lot. And 16 corners to go. 16, and it's coming down very quickly, of course. But I do think that it's been a very interesting race. It's been an important race for some. It's been an interesting race for some. Lumi struggling now. The medium tyres no longer being stronger. The Red Bull gets pushed off a bit. Anton now down to P9. Sonic is now having a go at Lumi. It is all going wrong for VEL and for Lumi. It's all gone wrong for him. Quartz disqualified from the race. Received multiple penalties. Received too many penalties from this race. So he gets disqualified here tonight, and that is disappointment. It's a disqualification for ABE, which I've never seen. I have no words. Final lap of the race now, by the way. Final lap. Marius Anderson has made sure he can stay far enough in front to ultimately take the lead and hold on to it. Smith is going for it. He's trying to make that move. He's trying to make it work. He's trying everything he can to make it work, but it isn't coming together for himself at the moment. It isn't happening just yet, but we'll have to see as they make their way round. It is only 1 sector remaining. It's only 3 corners left, and now that it's down to just 2 corners. But we will turn our eyes to the man who leads this race, Marius Anderson. An unlucky penalty, but he will cross the line in first. He will take the victory for TTRE, but it will be his teammate Arc who ultimately wins. He drops down to P5. We'll have to see where else everybody else goes. Smith is P2 with Lyric in P2 with the man Arc winning. It is ultimately, he will stay P5 for Marius, but Lumi finishes 6th. A decent performance from himself and his teammate who finished 6th and 7th. A good day in the end to score double points. And an interesting end to tonight's race. A very interesting end to tonight's race. I think if a team was ever to, if I was told earlier today that TTRE would start their campaign like this, I would have been shocked, in my opinion. I really would have. But it's time to now look at the finishing order. Arc wins from the front row of the grid, followed by his teammate who was on pole, who finished 2nd. Then is Smith in 3rd, a podium for ABE to start off their campaign. Tape is in 4th, with Marius Anderson finishing out the top 5 with the fastest lap. Lumi is 6th with his teammate Daniel in 7th. Sonic is 8th. followed by his teammate Anton in 9th, with Pavanir getting 10th, finishing out the points from 17th to 10th. Diamond Miner finishes 11th after an incredibly difficult race, with Bloodshed in 12th. It's Wooder in 13th with a retirement. Ultimately, in the end, these are the retirements. It's Wooder, Callum, SV, Junior, and Quartz with a disqualification for too many penalties. I'd say flop of the day sadly goes to Diamond Miner from 5th down to 11th. But my driver of the day has got to come as Tape. Not Tape, as Ark. It's really got to be. He's been really there. He dropped off a few times, but he got close again, and it's exactly what he needed. But with that over, it is time to now look at... it's now time to see if any drivers want to have a little interview. Have any little interview. Just checking who I've got to ask. We're going to be asking, we're going to see if we can, if they want to join us in interviews and have a little bit of a chat. Be interesting if they do. If they don't, we shall see. And they'll get back to us very shortly. Smith, not particularly wanting to do an interview, but it will be Lyric. Ark as well. We're going to be bringing them in very shortly. We're going to get them in the next few moments. I just have to sort something very quickly because I'm dumb. And I didn't think of doing this before because I'm stupid. But we are now going to bring in Lyric first. Hello, Lyric. Welcome to the interviews. How does it feel to be on the podium?
Feels absolutely amazing.
Fair enough. How was it like, sort of across the race? You sort of swapping with teammates, battling drivers like Smith. Was there sort of a lot of pressure to get that win, or was it comfortable with, sort of being around your teammates and possibly drivers you know?
Yeah, so me and our teammates, Ark and Marius, right? We were all in VC, and we all knew that it didn't matter who was P1, P2, P3. So, we just worked together. I was fine with staying in P3, just keeping Smith and the Red Bull behind. And honestly, it worked out, Marius is unlucky. He got the 10-second. I think he got it because he overtook like a DNF'd back marker out the pits. So hopefully he gets that removed. But that was amazing. Really good race.
Yeah. Of course, it's still a 1-2 at the end of the day. I believe it's 30. I think you've scored something like, I believe it's 45 points at the end of the day.
Nice.
Top of the standings quite clearly from the result. How does it feel to sort of do that? Do you have hopes to maybe come back next race or some point during the season and continue sort of winning?
Absolutely. If we're gonna do like another 4-car race like that, then absolutely I'll try and be back next race. And because that was really fun, So absolutely, yeah.
Great to hear. Thank you for joining me here in the interviews, and
appreciate it.
Good luck, and hopefully we'll see you again.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Now, we're going to, in a minute, bring in our next driver, the man who won the race. Hello, Ark. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. How does it feel to win?
Hello.
Hello. Hello, hello.
I
Discord bugged out for a second. Yeah. How does it feel to get a win to start the season with TTRE and get that victory in Austria?
That's pretty good. We all worked well together. Get a nice win. And a 1-2-3.
Yeah. Almost a 1-2-3. Of course, a penalty for your teammate did not help him at the end of the day. But how was it in those final few laps where, it was kind of hit or miss that you might take the lead, you might win? Was there sort of, was there a lot of pressure coming from the drivers around you for you to sort of try to stay in that chance to win?
No, I mean, we didn't really care about who in the team won as long as we got a 1-2-3. So just left a gap to, I think it was Marius, and I think he's gonna get his penalty removed because it was for yellow flag overtake when someone's car came out of the pits.
Yeah, that's it'll be very interesting to see whether it does get removed or not. But how do you feel sort of for the rest of the season? Do you feel confident that, sort of looking maybe across the calendar, do you feel like you could be in luck for the rest of the season, or is it sort of just see where it goes?
Yeah, no, just see where it goes. If I'm able to race the other races, I'm happy to race them. It was fun today.
Good. Thank you very much for joining me here in the interviews, and
Thank you
hopefully we'll see
for
you soon. And good luck.
Yeah, thank you for casting.
So now that is our interviews done, and sadly that names the end of tonight's stream. Very sadly, it is the end of tonight's stream. I hope everybody has enjoyed it. It's been huge amounts of action from qualifying to the race, TTRE dominance. But as I said about the calendar a minute ago, I'll say about it once again. And I'll tell you guys what is coming up and remind you guys of the entire calendar we have for the rest of the season. I will have a graphic for next race. We will have a calendar graphic, by the way, so don't be worried. You will be getting it soon. We have completed Austria. Next week, we will be going to Monza. Yes, the Temple of Speed. Then on the 8th of December, we'll be going to Japan, Suzuka. And then just before Christmas, on the 15th of December, we will be going to Las Vegas, where, of course, as we all know, this morning, if you're in the UK this morning, Max Verstappen took his 4th Drivers' Championship. Then we'll be having our winter break over Christmas. Then we'll be going to Qatar and China when we return over the 12th of January and 19th of January. Then there will be a break week before our final 3 races will take place in Bahrain, Belgium and Great Britain for rounds 7, 8 and 9 over the 2nd of February, 9th of February and 16th of February. Ultimately, that is pretty much all. Please think about subscribing and leaving a like. I hope you guys have enjoyed it a huge amount. Hopefully we'll see you again. We'll be racing once again on Tuesday for Tier 1 and the opening race of that, which is going to be incredibly interesting because we'll be going to Australia for the opening race of Tier 1. And then we'll see the rest of the calendar. We've got 4 races for both 4s and Tier 1 before Christmas. Make sure to tune in for that on Wednesdays and on Sundays at 8 p.m. Don't mind if I said Tuesday. I'm still getting used to it. But on Wednesdays and Sundays at 8 p.m. we'll be having Tier 1 and 4s. I hope you guys have all had a great and amazing day. Please think about subscribing and leaving a like. Also, big support and a big up to SimRacing Centre for affiliating with us. The link to their Discord server is down below. If you need any setups for Assetto Corsa, iRacing, or even F1, make sure to go and check them out. Also, race strategies and just anything and everything, really. It is quite amazing. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you all have an absolutely amazing week. And I will see you very soon. Bye.